Hare Krishna. On behalf of Evolve Pune team, I welcome all of you, our YouTube participants, as well as Zoom audience, to this finale episode of our series dealing with COVID crisis through the wisdom of Bhagavad-GITA. And today's topic is the yoga for modern age. So don't go to bring your yoga mats, because this yoga is not only about the body, this yoga is also about the mind, soul, and heart. So yesterday when we were discussing, Prabhuji told us that it's not about the situation, it's more about how do we react to a particular situation and how we can inculcate that practice so that we every time react to a situation in a very calm and composed manner. That requires a practice. And those practices will be discussed by Madan Sundar Prabhuji through the yoga for modern age. But before we move ahead with this finale episode of our series, I would like to tell you a few more things. So this is not the last occasion when we are meeting. Prabhuji has planned lot many courses for all of you. So now I would like to take few minutes of yours so that I can take all of you through that what is the upcoming courses for all of you. So I'm sharing my screen, and I hope all of you are aware that our website is Evolve Pune. You can go to the Evolve Pune site. It's very simple, evolvepune.com, or you can simply type Evolve Pune. This we have mentioned in our Zoom chats and WhatsApp chats also. When you'll go to the website, the home page of our website looks like this. You can scroll down to know more about the courses, or you can also click on the courses. So now what next we have for all of you? The next course which Prabhuji is planning is the Gita Essence series. Gita Essence series is going to be a level 2 series or level 2 study, where there will be a summarized study of all 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, where Prabhuji will take you through chapter by chapter through the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita. So this course, Gita Essence course, is going to start from not this Saturday, after that Saturday. That means from 8th May 2021, this course is going to start, and it's going to be in English. The registration link is open. So I request all of you, whosoever are interested, and I believe after the series you must be, that to register for this Gita Essence course, there will be 18 sessions covering all 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. There will be quiz after each and every chapter. And obviously, it will be a very interactive course. So this is the registration link for that particular course. The course is going to be from 8th May to 26th May. Obviously, it is going to be online through the YouTube mode as well as Zoom mode. And you are going to access to all course materials, quizzes, and Prabhuji's PPT. There is no registration fee, but we request all of you to register as soon as possible because that will help us to plan ahead. It's preferably for the age group of 15 plus and above. This is the series which we are planning, which is just upcoming. Apart from that, Prabhuji is also planning the level 3 course. So level 1 course was the series, COVID crisis series, which we were discussing, dealing with the COVID crisis through the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita. Level 2 series is about the Gita Essence, where there will be a study of chapter-wise Bhagavad Gita. The level 3 series is more deeper understanding of Vedic scriptures, which is a level 3 course. This is also going to happen in English language, and Prabhuji is planning to start on 5th Jan 2021 onwards, where Prabhuji will cover Bhagavad Gita in detail, Sri Ishopanishad, the nectar of instruction and nectar of devotion. The deal with COVID crisis is a current series, and registrations are already closed, and we are today in the finale episode. We also have many courses which are ongoing. So if you would like to join any of the ongoing course, then you are more than welcome. So what are the ongoing courses? These are the upcoming courses: Gita Essence, starting from the next 8th May 2021. Bhakti Shastri course in English, starting from the 5th June 2021. Ongoing, we are already having Bhakti Shastri course ongoing in the Hindi language. We are already in the finale episode of the current series. We also have a Vedic science course on Srimad Bhagavatam, which happens during the early morning time, morning 8 to 9, where a summary study of Canto 1 to 6 of Srimad Bhagavatam is delivered by Madan Sundar Prabhuji. Apart from that, if you can look, we have courses based on the spirituality level. So level 1 is about the Gita wisdom. Prabhuji is also planning to start courses on self-excellence. Prabhuji is also planning to start courses on epic wisdom of Mahabharata pretty soon. Then Light of Bhagavata, where there will be 24 selected stories from Srimad Bhagavatam to apply in the spiritual life, mind management course, and the Gita Essence. Apart from that, we have special programs for our younger kids. Younger kids means who are in the age group of above 6 to 15. We have Bhakti School. Bhakti School is physical school for our kids, where we have the Sunday school activities for the kids, which are in the age group of 5 to 7 years and 8 to 13 years. The activities includes teaching as well as many more activities which helps them to understand spirituality in a very simpler manner, maybe through drawing, through singing, through other activities. Apart from that, we have an online course also for kids. This is a level 2 course, which is a Mantra Jam course. In the Mantra Jam course, we cover stories based on Srimad Bhagavatam, and it also teaches the shloka recitation, pronunciation of shlokas, meaning of shlokas, kirtan, which happens generally either on Monday or Friday between 7 to 8 p.m. And very, very important, soon we are going to announce our online cultural competition. This is the 3rd edition of our online cultural competition. In the past, we have had 2 international online cultural competition where kids, not only kids, even adults from different countries participated, and they shown their creativity and offerings to Lord. So you can showcase your creativity in form of painting, in form of drawing, in form of music, and everything should be connected to Krishna. So this is also going to be announced pretty soon. Now, without a much ado, and without taking so much of your time, we can go back to our series, and I can request Madan Sundar Prabhuji to take us through. So Prabhuji will be joining soon, and we'll be continuing to the finale season of our today's discussion, the yoga for modern age. So in the yesterday class, we discussed the fundamental questions about the karma. We discussed that what are the different laws of karma. We discussed that karma cannot nullify. We cannot have We cannot say that, oh, I have done 5 good things, so now I can do 3 bad things, and 5 minus 3, at least I will have 2 karmic accounts, 2 good things. No, Prabhuji has very clearly commented or discussed that no, karma or laws of karma doesn't work in this manner. You cannot nullify them. You will get reactions for your positive karmas, as well as you will get reactions for the negative karmas also. And yesterday we also understood 3 types of karma: the akarma, karma, vikarma, which Prabhuji clearly mentioned through the traffic lights. Like vikarma comes under the red light zone, karma comes under the yellow light zone, and akarma comes under the green light zone. So Prabhuji is there. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, over to you. I welcome you to this particular session. Do I need to unmute you?
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Am I
Krishna.
visible as well as audible?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Looks like a little poor internet at my end. I'm not able to see anyone here, but nonetheless, at least I could hear you. So thank you so much, Mother Dipasha, for being the host of this program, this series, along with Mother Medavani, and hosting all of us for this series, and as well as giving a very important introduction to our different courses that we have or that we conduct, also about the courses that we're going to start after the series ends. So with that little introduction, it's time for us to start our discussion. I'll offer a prayer and then we'll start our discussion for today. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So we welcome everyone for today's discussion to the final episode of the series based on the wisdom of Bhagavad-Gita. So just to reiterate, Bhagavad-Gita teaches us 4 fundamental truths of life, which we saw before also, but just to reiterate so that you remember it. Very first thing, Bhagavad Gita teaches us, I am not everything. God exists, which means the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This body is not all in all. Soul exists. Who am I? I'm not this machine, but a spirit driving this machine. This life is not all in all. Reincarnation exists, which means this is not the only life that we lived. Knowing this or thinking like this, people think that they can do anything that they want to do in their life because this is the only life. They should enjoy their senses. They should gratify themselves, even at the cost of others' well-being. Because after all, this is the only life we have got. Try to exploit, try to utilize it as much as possible. No, that's not the fact. Reincarnation exists. Reincarnation exists is an evidence of itself that law of karma acts. And fourth, and the final, not the final in the sense, but one of the 4 essential truths of Bhagavad Gita, this material world is not all in all. Spiritual world exists. Day before yesterday, when we discussed about Prakriti, then we had talked about what is this material universe. Material universe is just a 25% of the creation of the Lord, where 75% is the spiritual world. And this 25% of the creation of the Lord is compared to a prison house. So this is where we are right now, having to choose a dress from 8.4 million species. So in essence, who am I? Soul, which produces desires. Where am I in the material world right now? What situation am I in a material body? What am I bound by? The 3 chains or the modes of material nature. What is controlling me? Kala. And who is watching me? Paramatma. This is what is a gist of what all we have discussed so far. And in case if you have understood this, you have really understood a larger portion of Vedic scriptures. Congratulations to each one of you, those who have understood the subject matter. It's a big thing, which is made so simple and so easy for us to understand by the grace of Srila Prabhupada and the teachers through whom we have learned it, and by their blessings we are trying to share with everyone else. So Bhagavad Gita, as we discussed before, have 5 major topics: Ishvara, Jiva, Kala, Karma, Prakriti. So we have already discussed all of these things. But we have got knowledge. In other words, we have got theory. We know the theory. We got a knowledge. But how do we make it into an application? In other words, how do we live our life with this knowledge? So knowledge alone is not sufficient. For knowledge to act, it requires a strength. That strength that impels us to follow that knowledge. So how do we cultivate the strength, or how do we follow the knowledge? Lord Shri Krishna himself describes this in Bhagavad-GITA, that this is possible through the means of yoga. Yoga is the process by which we link with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and is the process by which we can apply the teachings of Bhagavad-GITA. And that is what gives us the strength and ability to do so. Therefore, our today's topic, the concluding topic, is practical Bhagavad-GITA or practical yoga, whatever you want to call it, is about how do we live our life, or how our life looks different after knowing all this wisdom of scriptures. So yoga for modern age. Lord Shri Krishna says in Bhagavad-GITA, Arjuna, be a yogi at all times and all conditions. Tapasvibhyo dhiko yogi, jnanibhyopi matodikaha, karmibhyaschadiko yogi, tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. Tasmad means therefore. Bhavarjuna, yogi, at all times be a yogi. So what does it mean? A yogi is greater than a tapasvi, a greater than empirist, which means a philosopher, that is in jnani, and greater than karmi, which means who practice karma yoga. We'll talk about this different yoga and all that in a short while. Just one quick second. Yes. And therefore, Lord Shri Krishna says, yogi is the highest and best, therefore be a yogi. So before we try to be a yogi, first of all, we should understand what is yoga. As many, you can say, minds, that many opinion. Everybody have their own understanding of, different subject matters. But that is not how we live our life. So a lot of people think when we talk about the subject matter of yoga, or let me put it this way, of course, this is not a forum where I can interact with you so much. Otherwise, I generally ask the people or the audience, what do you think? What is the first thing that comes into your mind when you think of yoga? I believe you can type into the chat box, if the chat box is enabled. So what is the first thing that comes into your mind when you think of yoga? Many times people say asana. Some have to practice to perform an asana. Some do naturally after over-intoxication. Looks similar nonetheless. So people say asana, you do this asana and that asana, your indigestion problem will be resolved, your headache will be resolved, etc., etc. Yes, these asanas and body postures makes our physically fit, helps in our physical well-being, but that is not the ultimate goal of yoga. Many times people say yoga means meditation. Meditation, there is so much research is going on the subject matter of meditation. And so many research has already been published talking about different kinds of meditation. Doctors and the scientists say those who regularly meditate, they have a more peaceful mind, stress-free, anxiety-free life. Their breathing is in control. They're sober. They have a sharp intellect, etc., etc. Meditation, it builds focus, reduces stress, lowers blood pressure, helps sleep, decreases depression, is all at physical well-being. Once again, meditation is not all about this. To let you know, yoga in today's world is a huge industry. It is approximately $84 billion industry, yoga. Our sages, if they were alive, who gave the science of yoga, would be really, really rich today. If they would have claimed proprietary on the science of yoga. It is this $84 billion is equivalent to 6 lakh crore rupees, if I'm correct. That's what it looks like. I wrote a number. It's a huge amount. So what is yoga and what is it not? Yoga is meant to connect or reconnect with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is not meant as an exercise to have a shapely body. Yoga is meant to connect oneself with the Supreme Lord, but not meant to increase our lifespan by controlling our breathing. Yoga is not meant to acquire mystic powers. Many times people think whenever the the word yoga comes in their mind, sometimes people think it refers to a yogi sitting somewhere in a Himalayan cave with his ribs visible and his belly touching the back of the spine, or you can say touching the spine, and thin, lean fellow sitting in some Himalayan range. No, that's not what yoga is all about. Yoga is not meant for an exercise for shapely body to increase lifespan or to acquire mystic power. The goal of yoga, the word yoga, refers to connect. Connect with what? Connect with our Supreme Father. When you say connect, it means there should be a disconnection before, then only you can connect, isn't it? So what are we disconnected with? We all are disconnected from our Supreme Father. Our relationship is disconnected. So yoga, when it says yoga, when you say you're practicing yoga, it should always mean we are trying to reconnect with our Supreme Father, the one who actually gave all this wisdom also. So what is yoga? Every living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, just as the finger is a part of the body. When finger gets cut off or chopped off the hand, then finger has no value. Similarly, all of us, just like the fire, when fire produces, there is also spark. As long as spark is connected with the fire, it has a value. When spark gets separated from the fire, it gets distinguished, it gets, extinguished very easily. So that's what is the state of our existence right now, where we have got disconnected from our relationship with the Lord. Therefore, there's so much stress, anxiety, depression, whatnot. Please think about it. Have you ever seen any animal, despite of how much hungry he or she may be there, but have you ever seen any dog, any monkey, any cat committing a suicide? Which means if in a human species, people are committing suicide, how much we are suffering from a depression. So yoga, the word yoga comes from yuj. Yuj means to join. Connect with what? To connect with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So who is a yogi? Yogi refers to one whose life and activities are aimed at re-establishing one's relationship with the Supreme Lord. What is the definition of a yogi? Yogi refers to one whose life and activities are aimed at establishing one's relationship with the Lord, with God, or Supreme Absolute Truth. Whatever he does, his every moment of his life becomes a yoga when he's conscious about his relationship with the Supreme Lord. And such a person, in true sense, is called a yogi. I am not saying this. Krishna says in Bhagavad-GITA. We'll quote a verse in a short while. Now, there are different ways of establishing that relationship with the Supreme Father. Lord Shri Krishna in Bhagavad-GITA talks about it. Hare Krishna. Excuse me, I'm having an internet issue, so I'll just sign out from the Zoom for the time being. Yeah. So there are different kinds of yoga or processes which Lord Shri Krishna himself talks about in Bhagavad-GITA, through which we can connect our relationship with the Supreme Lord. Like Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, or Bhakti Yoga. What is Karma Yoga? The Karma Yoga is a process where we connect our relationship with the Lord through the means of our work. The work, which means the senses, the way we engage our senses, is to please the Lord. This subject matter would be discussed at length in our next course in Bhagavad-GITA that we're going to do it. Then we have Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga refers to a practice of studying scriptures, philosophical speculation, through which a person is trying to know about the absolute truth. Then you have Dhyana Yoga, which involves control of the mind and senses and meditation on the absolute truth. And then finally you have Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga means loving devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now for Jnana Yoga and Dhyana Yoga, you have to take to renunciation to be able to practice this yoga. For Karma Yoga, you can very well be a householder, you can be a professional, student, doesn't matter. But for Jnana Yoga and Dhyana Yoga, you have to definitely renounce your household duties, your professional life, go to the forest and live in a very meager condition. But when it comes to Bhakti Yoga is sometimes also called as Karma Yoga in Krishna consciousness or in practice, wherein you can be in any situation of your life. You just have to change your consciousness. What is the default state of consciousness of a living entity? The default state of consciousness is what's in for me. Everyone at all times is asking what's in for me. How can I enjoy more? How can I gratify more is what everyone is thinking. So Bhagavad-Gita helps us to change our consciousness. The practice that we're going to talk about today helps us to change our consciousness. There needs to be a paradigm shift where we stop asking what's in for me, rather we start talking about how can I serve you? And who should we be asking to serve? Is the Supreme Personality Godhead. And once we begin to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but naturally, just like when a son becomes obedient to his father, he certainly loves all his brothers and sisters, because all his brothers and sisters are the son and daughter of the father whom he loves. Just like in America or in English, there is a saying, if you want to love the master, love the dog. If you love the dog, your master. If you want to please the master, if you want to please anybody, then love the dog, which means to whom they love. And if you love them, naturally the master or the person becomes pleased. So that's about Bhakti Yoga. Very simple and easy to practice. Nobody has to give up their current situation of life. What needs to be given? Definitely certain things needs to be given up. That we'll discuss ahead. So these are the 4 kinds of yoga that Krishna talks about it, through which we can establish our relationship. Now, whenever you have options, then there is certain amount of differentiation. There has to be one better than other, or one has to be inferior than the other. So which is the best? That we'll take a look. Hare Krishna. Okay, it's working now. Somehow laptop is giving a little trouble here. So there are different kinds of yoga, as I said, and of course, one has to be better than other. So who can tell us which is the best yoga? For example, you want to purchase a laptop and you're wondering which operating system a laptop should have. Should I use Windows? Should I use Linux? Should I use Mac? Let's make it simple. Let's imagine you want to go with Windows platform. So within Windows, which version of Windows is best for me? Who can tell us? Who is the best person can tell us? Of course, the one who created it, the author of it, that is Bill Gates. So what does Krishna says about what is the best yoga? The one who's actually introducing us to all kinds of different kinds of yogas, the same Lord Shri Krishna in 6th chapter Bhagavad-Gita 47th verse says, Yoginam api sarvesham madkatenantaratmanaha Shraddhavam bhajate yo mam same yuktatamo mataha. Yoginam api sarvesham. Among all yogis, karma yogi, jnana yogi, dhyana yogi, and bhakta yogi. Yoginam api sarvesham. Who is the sarvesham? Who is the best? Mad katena antaratmana. One who is engaged in rendering loving devotional service unto me. According to me, he is the best of the yogi. So to put this, the different yogas into a context, it is actually like a yoga ladder. The bottom stage or the bottommost step of this yoga ladder is Karma Yoga. Higher than that is Jnana. Third is Ashtanga. And the highest is the Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga, where a person has a complete understanding about the absolute truth. He knows who he is serving. He doesn't have any ambiguity and doubt. However, up to the state of Ashtanga and Jnana Yoga, people are still searching out the absolute truth. And sometimes they come to a conclusion that I am the absolute truth, or else they end up becoming a Buddhist philosopher saying nothing is there, everything is void. But Bhakti Yoga stage means where a person knows Krishna is a Supreme Personality, Mame Vamsa Jiva Loka Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. I am his eternal part and parcel, and our loving relationship exists, which I have forgotten. And by the process of this Bhakti Yoga, I have to reestablish. So can all paths lead to same goal? Many times people ask this question. Yes. Like Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga is like you have to climb up. It's like you have not climbed, but you have to go to the 25th story of a building. The two means for it. You can go by a staircase, you can go by a lift. So all other yogas, except for Bhakti Yoga, is like taking a staircase, a long winding route, which will gradually, eventually take you to the 25th floor if assumingly you have not got heart attack or something. There are a lot of chances you may get distracted in between. However, Bhakti Yoga, Srila Prabhupada gives this beautiful example, is like a lift, which is instantaneously takes you to your destination, that is the 25th floor. What you have to do? No effort has to be put. Yes or no? You just have to make an effort of getting into the lift. And second thing that you need to ensure is do not get down on the 5th floor. Your destination is 25th floor, which means do not get stuck with heavenly ideas, heavenly pleasures, or the mystic pleasures. Focus on the 25th floor, which is the abode of the Lord. However, when you are taking a staircase and the steps, there you have to continuously keep putting your endeavors and effort, isn't it? So as long is extremely tiring, unlike the Bhakti Yoga process, direct process, where as soon as we get into the lift is pulled up, not by our effort, by the grace of the Supreme Lord. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam tadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamapiyantite. Like this, several places in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, either Krishna says, Prati Janomi, what is that? My devotees never perish. Or Krishna, in this particular context, Krishna says, I give the intelligence to one who's engaged in my devotional service so that he can come to me. So a devotee is always under the protection of the Lord, and by the strength and the mercy of the Lord, he is elevated to the highest spiritual consciousness. So question comes, what is exactly Bhakti Yoga? Bhakti Yoga means our relationship. Yoga means to reconnect, which means to revive our lost loving relationship with the Supreme Lord. Take an example. Our condition in this world is like that of a fish out of the water. You take a fish out of the ocean or the water, put it onto the 5-star hotel, provide the best of the dining, best of the place to stay. Can the fish be ever happy? Because that is not the environment that belongs to the fish. How can we expect a spirit soul that belongs to the spiritual world to ever become happy in the material world, which is foreign to it? Just like for a fish, material world is the land is foreign, the water is a natural state of existence for fish. Similarly, for spirit, soul, spiritual world is a natural state of existence. Therefore, everyone, whoever, how much ever great person could be, always there is some friction going on. Something is always missing in their heart for which they keep on longing. And that longing for that love and affection turns out into a lot of humanitarian activities and whatnot. But that's a subtle indication of the hankering for love of Godhead. So the nature of the soul is like the nature of the salt is to be salty, and the nature of the soul is to serve. We already described. Dharma means to serve. It is our eternal constitutional position. Nobody can take the propensity to serve from a living entity, because otherwise, without it, we have no meaning. We have already discussed that. So the definition of Bhakti Yoga is that yoga which establishes our soul's love and service for Krishna is called Bhakti Yoga. Many times people ask, would serving Krishna would satisfy everyone? What about my family? What about my friends? What about my relatives? What about other devatas whom I worship and used to pray? Serving Krishna, according to scriptures, in fact, Narad Muni says, is like watering the root of the tree. When you water the root of the tree, the whole tree is nourished. And apart from, if you don't serve Krishna, then all our endeavors to serve is like watering the branches, the twigs, or the leaves directly, which does not help anyone. So how can we acquire this love for Krishna? Through the practice of Bhakti Yoga, but how does it actually function? So somebody asked a question to Michelangelo. How do you make such beautiful sculptures? A very profound answer he gave. Generally, our idea of life is, if I need to be happy, what do we think? I need to acquire and possess more, right? I'm looking for happiness, which means either I need a girlfriend, I need to get married, or I need to talk to my brother, I need to talk to my sister, I need more friends. For me to be happy, I need more and more and more. But no, that's not the idea. Very interesting thing Michelangelo said. How do you make so beautiful sculptures? He said, I just chisel away unwanted stones from unwanted things from the marble, and the beautiful artifact or the sculpture comes out, which means why we are not able to develop spontaneous love for Krishna, or what are we supposed to do, is not exactly to acquire more and more. What we need to do is to get rid of unwanted things. And what are those unwanted things? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mad, and Matsarya. I don't think so. I need to give you a definition of each of these. Very well, you understand what Kama. Kama doesn't refer to a sexual appetite. Kama refers to desires in general, mundane desires or materialistic desires. Kama, Krodha, anger. When our desires are not fulfilled, we become angry. When our desire is fulfilled, we become greedy, because the more you have it, the more person wants to have it. Like this. Envy, illusion, and pride are the other things that we suffer from. So we have to get rid of these things and not to acquire. And when we free ourselves from these things, then we realize our original state. Our state of consciousness is like that of a dirty mirror, which have not been cleaned for hundreds, thousands, or millions of years, and dust have been accumulated. So now in that mirror, you want to see your reflection. Can you ever see your reflection in that mirror? You cannot. You have to clean that mirror, keep cleaning, keep cleaning. When the mirror gets clean, then you see your clear reflection. So right now, what we need to do, the consciousness which has got contaminated by this dirt of Kama, Krodha, Lobh, Moha, Mad, Matsarya has to be cleaned. And the process of cleaning is Bhakti Yoga. So before we look into the process, what is the steps that we need to follow? Let's take one quick question here before we proceed ahead. Because this is an open program, there are a lot of congregation also out there, and the young man and woman who might be getting married soon, whatever, going to become a family person gradually. So many times people ask this question, can we perform Bhakti Yoga in our family situation? Or else they say, well, I'm in a family situation, I don't have time, this is not the responsibility of a grahastha. When I'll retire from my professional life and my kids, everyone will get married and all that, then I will think of it, because if I want to take renunciation, then I can do it. But right now, I'm not ready for renunciation. Bhagavad-gita is not at all about it. Think about it. Who spoke Bhagavad-gita? Krishna. Spoke to whom? Arjuna. Either of them were renunciates. Was Krishna wearing the saffron, or was Arjuna wearing the saffron? Both of them were actually grahastha. After hearing the message of Bhagavad-gita, did Arjuna become a sannyasi? No, he remained a grahastha. In fact, Arjuna wanted to become a sannyasi. That was not actual renunciation at the side of Arjuna. So Lord Shri Krishna discouraged him. Nonetheless, the point here is Arjuna was a king and Krishna was himself, the king of Dwarka. Not exactly, Ugrasen was a king, but he was the most important person. Second thing people ask, how can I get the time to practice Bhakti Yoga? The wife, the kids, the wife would say, the husband or the family members, the kitchen and whatnot, hundreds and hundreds of excuses are there. I don't have time. Well, if you want, please make a note of it. Your time is generally divided into 3 categories. One is the work time. Second is the worry time. Third is the waste time. If you want to take out time, please figure out what is your waste time and what is your worry time. That worry time and waste time, you replace it with spiritual activities. Nothing else you have to do. You don't have to compromise your work. All right. So just replace your worry time and waste time with spiritual activities. Fill it up with spiritual activities and continue with your work. No problem. You will be progressive and so forth. Many times people say, you are young. Why are you doing all this thing? You should get married, enjoy life. And then when you grow old, when you can't see, can't speak, can't breathe, when body is old, of no use, then you chant, then you practice. How would you practice? How would you chant? And my question to those who are giving you this advice, tell them, you set an example of practicing Bhakti Yoga now, then we'll do it. Now you're retired, why don't you do it? Set an example at least for us. If you set an example for us, then we'll think about it. If not, please let me do what I want to do it. You anyways live your life, and God knows what's going to happen to you after death. So let me at least save my life. So no, spirituality is not a retirement program. Spirituality should be given the highest priority, because we don't know when death would come knocking on our door. There's very unfortunate times going out in the world today. Every day I get 1 or 2 calls where people are known, either of students or the students' family members. Somebody is in a very, very critical situation. And so many of our known people we have unfortunately have lost in this pandemic. Nobody had thought about it. Just today afternoon, I got a call. It was so shocking. Just a few days ago, everything was fine. We were talking, and suddenly the situation is so critical for this individual. Has to be he's in ICU. What do you do about it? The point is, death can come at any point of time. So we should not think, or we should not postpone this very important activity, spiritual activity, for some future event, because that future we may not be alive to see it. And that's the point. Death is the examination. So spirituality should be given the highest priority. So understanding what is Bhakti Yoga, the importance of it, what should I do now? So we have to take 5 steps. Kindly make a note of it. What are the 5 steps? Very first step, understand we are victim of the pandemic, not the COVID pandemic, but the pandemic of Maya, which is there from the beginning of the time of the creation. What are the symptoms of my disease? If there is any disease, there are symptoms. The symptoms of my disease, or indications of my disease, that is what we call as disease of Maya, or the Maya's virus, is I am undergoing the suffering of birth, death, old age, and disease. Is there anyone who can say doesn't have the symptoms? And also of Adhyatmika, Adhibhautika, Adhidaivika Klesha. So these are the evidences of my state of suffering, in which, in other words, it indicates that I am sickly. So I need to accept my situation. And when we know we are sick, we definitely need medical attention. So what we need to do, we need to find out the right hospital. We need to approach the right hospital where I could be treated. So scriptures are also compared, the scripture compares temple to a hospital. Temple is like a spiritual hospital. Now, why you go to temple? Because the presence of Lord is very closely felt there, isn't it? Of course, Lord is omniscient, omnipresent, no doubt about it. But in the temple, we feel the presence of the Lord far much greater than any other place, at least in our neophyte condition. Just like, why do you go and study in library? You can go and study in theater or while watching an IPL match in the cricket stadium, yes or no? The environment affects. So you find a suitable environment to do that particular activity. That's the reason temples are there. So why not serve others, then go to temple? This is a question that people ask, challenging the existence of temple. Oh, what we need to go to temple? God is everywhere. First of all, I gave you the reason, yes, but we feel the presence of God more closely or intimately at temple. Now, second question, people say, why to waste time going to temple? Why don't we treat, or why don't we help the people? Well, if you have if you have ever sat in a plane or taken a flight, whenever you sit down, the air hostess will teach you about any emergency situation, and they'll give a demonstration. If in case of an emergency, the oxygen falls short, the oxygen mask will come from, the oxygen mask will be released, and the very first thing that you have to do is you take that oxygen mask, make sure you put it onto the mouth of everyone else. All right, because humanity means to serve others. So we have to put service to others on priority. Make sure you put mask on your next passenger successfully. Until you do that, keep trying. You know what's going to happen if you do so? Both of you die. So what does the air hostess say is, in a case of an emergency when oxygen is less, even if you are a mother, have a small child, please put the mask first on your mouth, which means once you have a strength, then only you can help other. So if somebody says, why we have to go and open temple, why we have to go to temple, we should serve humanity. It's just like a person who's already suffering because of this pandemic. He goes and tries to serve others, would do nothing but would spread the pandemic more. So get recovered first and then do your charitable acts. That's the point here. Like a first year MBBS student. A first year MBBS student says, why do I need to go and finish my college? I can go and treat patients. I can do surgery. Would anyone of you buy that option? Not at all. First of all, you get the knowledge. You get an understanding of how to treat and then come to it. So home can be turned into a temple or a spiritual abode. So for an example, when we see the flag on the top of a building, then we understand the government of India is in power, right? If there is a Pakistani flag, then you understand the government of Pakistan is ruling. So the flag indicates whichever government is there. So when you look at the house, when you look at the roof of different house, you see different kinds of flags. What is this flag? It's called as antenna. And what it means, when you have a flag of a nation, it means the government rules. When you have a flag like this, which means the social media and the TV industry rules at your house. TV is a center. What 800 years of Mughal rule could not do to destroy our Vedic civilization, what 200 years of the British rule could not do to destroy our civilization, 25 years of MTV, roadies, and Kabhi Saas Bhi Bahu Thi. I'm really out of I don't know what exactly is going on in TV. Huh? Kahani Ghar Ghar Ki. What is that, some program where you show reality show, where you lock them into a house? Big Boss, something like that. These things have destroyed whatever traces of Vedic culture and civilization was remaining within us, have literally turned us into an animal. So we should take this antenna off and put or replace this TV with an altar. Let our house be dominated by the vibrations of the holy names of the Lord, by the presence of the Lord, rather than with the presence of all kind of rubbish and nonsense things which are shown on the TV. So God should be the center of the house. So that's the whole thing. Approach the right hospital, which meant was, to go to the temple. And if you cannot go to temple regularly, then make your house into a temple. It's very simple. You can have a photo of deities, Shri Radha and Krishna. When you get up in the morning, offer a small prayer. In the follow-up courses, follow-up program will teach you what prayers can be offered and how to serve and all that. There are different artis we offer, how to offer bhoga, etc., etc. That whole program would be there. We'll plan out and let you know. So you know of it, how to make your house spiritualized, what all we need to do it. If in case time permits today, I'll introduce some of the subjects today also. Third is approach the right doctor. A uniform and stethoscope does not make one a doctor. A doctor has to be authorized by the university. You remember Munna Bhai MBBS? We have to be careful of charlatans like that. A person has to be authorized by the university. Similarly, a guru has to be bona fide. Bona fide guru means one who is connected with the parampara started from Lord Shri Krishna himself. Like Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON, is an Acharya in the parampara of Brahma, Madhava, Gaudiya parampara. You can see on your screen, Krishna instructed Brahma, Brahma instructed Narada, and through that parampara has come to Lord Chaitanya. From Lord Chaitanya it has come to Srila Prabhupada, and it has continued from Srila Prabhupada through Srila Prabhupada's stalwart disciples and devotees like that. So the third step is to approach the right doctor, which means to find a genuine guru. Fourth is to avoid negative things, right? When you approach a doctor, doctor gives you a prescription, isn't it? And when he gives a prescription to you, he tells you what not to do, isn't it? I don't know how much allopathy doctors do that anymore, but if you go to Ayurvedic doctor, he'll tell you exact do's and don'ts. Agar aapko thandi hai, if you got a cold, make sure you don't take yogurt or curd, whatever you want to call it. So there is certain things which are told to us which we should avoid. So what are the negative things that we need to avoid are as follows. The 4 sinful activities starting with meat eating. When we do meat eating, the mercy is lost. Gambling, truthfulness lost. Intoxication, austerity is lost, and illicit relationship. With that, cleanliness is lost, because of which the 4 pillars of dharmas are destroyed. And when dharma is destroyed, then of course, according to the law of karma, we'll have to face severe consequences and will continue to remain sick. And that is the point. We should make sure that we protect ourselves from engaging into any of these 4 activities. Next is, after avoiding negative thing, we also have to take positive things. So we have to apply positive treatment. What is a positive treatment? Which I have discussed before also briefly, but we'll speak in a little more detail now. A, B, C, D formula. Association. Association can be of 3 types: bad association, good association, and devotee association. The highest is of the devotee association. Devotee being the lover of the Lord, and if you connect with such a lover, would always will speak about the subject matter of his lover, which means you'll always get to hear about the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. B is book reading, wisdom literatures, Vedic texts like Mahabharata, Ramayana, etc. Now, information is of another kind of an association that we have. We are living in an age of information explosion. Too much overdosage of information, too much information we get from different sources. So the kind of information, the kind of text we read, the kind of consciousness we cultivate. Imagine a child or a mother or a man is reading a text like Ramayana. Everyone has a lesson to draw for themselves. Mother Sita's chastity and integrity towards the relationship of Lord Ram. Lord Ram's commitment towards the protection of Mother Sita. Hanumanji's service attitude, selfless service attitude toward Lord Ram. Everyone can draw a lesson according to the role and position in the society, being a son, husband, or a wife, or a daughter, whatever we are. Similarly, we read Mahabharata, we'll definitely get to know what not to be done or what not to be done. How or why we should not act in the footsteps of the Duryodhana, Karna, Shatuni, etc., and how we should behave. In other words, if we read wisdom literature, we'll definitely find the right role models, like for the characters for integrity, chastity, truthfulness, courage, bravery, etc., etc. And therefore, we should read such wisdom literatures. Third is chanting the holy names of the Lord. Very, very important. If in case the sound works, I'd like to show you a small video of George Harrison. Hare Krishna. Give me a quick second. Looks like sound is not connected again. Yes, it's not connected. So till the time the video comes back, here George Harrison, one of the very famous Beatles, a member of the Beatle gang, he's talking about his experience with chanting of the holy names of the Lord. And there is a video about where he says that how he, in a road trip from New York to California, driving his car for 2 days straight, he continued chanting the holy names of the Lord. And that is how he describes and shares his wonderful experience. Fine, the device is not getting identified here. So I'll just make one last attempt. Is the Bluetooth search is on in that? Okay, we'll make one last attempt with that. So that's the thing about it. And that's what George Harrison actually speaks about his experience. He says, I have never ever felt such a great happiness in my life. And when I started chanting, I could not stop chanting even for once. And that is how George Harrison speaks about it. So sorry for this. Somehow the sound is not working. We'll continue with our session. We'll show this video up on we'll send it on the WhatsApp group. So in essence, see, for chanting, the mantra that we chant, which is prescribed for this age of Kali, is Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Eva Kevalam, Kalonasa, Evanasa, Evanasa Gatir Anyata. Hare Krishna, Hare Nama, Eva Kevalam. There is no other alternative than to chant the holy names of the Lord. Everyone, please repeat after me. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And not only this, actually, this is given in the scriptures, like Kali Santarana Upanishad says, Iti Shodashkam Nam Nam Kali Kalmashanashanam Nata Parataropaya Sarva Vede Shudashyate. After searching through all the Vedic literature, one cannot find a method of religion more sublime for the sage than the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. And the last, before we come to the last, let me just revise it. So what all we need to do, what is practical Bhagavad-Gita? Take association of saintly people. Second, regularly read wisdom literature. We have a regular program which goes on. You can either join those programs or read yourself Bhagavad-Gita. And of course, we forgot to ask you, we will be sending out an emailer soon, maybe in a day or two. If those of you who do not have a copy of Bhagavad-Gita, do not have japa beads to chant the holy names of the Lord, so we can ship it out from Pune, and we'll send out an emailer soon. Those of you interested, you can let us know, and our devotees can pack it and send it to your respective location. So B for books, C for chanting, and D is for diet. Foremost, we should try to come to the level of vegetarian diet, if in case it is not. And those of you on vegetarian diet, it should not be with onion and garlic, actually. Onion and garlic we'll discuss in some of the sessions ahead. Onion and garlic actually said to be the food in Rajoguna and Tamoguna, and they increase that state of consciousness. Therefore, it is recommended not to consume onion and garlic, and there's definitely replacements for it. But for medicinal purpose, if there is a need, an emergency, that can be used. So whatever you cook, offer to the Lord, and trust me, Lord will give you back 100% as it is. Don't get worried, my food will get short. Anyways, the lockdown is going on. And not only that, Lord will not only give you back, Lord will take away all the sins hidden in that food, which is part of anything in this world that has many faults, and will sanctify it. And when you consume that food, which is now prasadam, which means mercy of the Lord, you will experience an incredible amount of transformation in your consciousness. So that's it. Apply a positive treatment. That's what you have to do from today, starting from today. Keep in association, read wisdom literature, C for chanting, and D for Krishna prasadam. If you continue to do so, and continue performing your household chores, your professional duties, and whatnot you have. And as far as at our side, we can create a facility for all of you to stay connected, to inspire you in your Krishna consciousness. We'll always try to do that at our best. But this is something you can always do at your level also, at your home to begin with. So to come to a conclusion of this topic, Yoga for Modern Age, we talked about what is yoga, who is a yogi. Yoga is of 4 types: Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, or which is called as Ashtanga Yoga also, and Bhakti Yoga. And there are different kinds of yogas. One has to be the best. And Krishna says, Yoginam api sarvesham. The best of the yogi is Bhakti Yogi. Why we have to believe the words of Krishna? Just like the Steve Jobs can tell you which is the best version of Microsoft, because he created it. Who created, who gave this knowledge of yoga, the science of yoga? Krishna. That original creator and father is telling us the best yoga or yogi is Bhakti Yoga or Bhakti Yogi. So what is Bhakti Yoga is what we discuss. How we can practice Bhakti at home. Do we need to renounce? Not at all. Neither Arjuna or Krishna were part of renounced order. They both were Grihastha. How do we practice Bhakti Yoga at home? We said, try to make your home as a temple. Put a frame of the Lord, offer flower to him. What prayers to be offered? We'll discuss that in upcoming sessions and future sessions to help you more. And in conclusion, at the end, we talked about the 5 things that we need to do, to practice Bhakti Yoga or to reconnect our relationship with the Lord. First, understand our sickness. And what is the symptom of a sickness? Birth, death, old age, disease, adhyatmika, adhibhautika, adhidevika klesh. Knowing that I'm sick, go to find the right hospital, which means approach temple. Either approach temple or else make your house a temple. Third, find the right doctor. Who is the right doctor? The one who is Bonafide, a Bonafide guru, coming in a parampara starting from Lord Shri Krishna. After that, once you find a guru, the doctor gives you a prescription. then follow the prescription. The prescription have the do's and don'ts, yama and niyama. What are the don'ts? The 4 regulative principles, the 4 sinful activities must be avoided: intoxication, gambling, meat eating, and illicit relationship. And what to be done is ABCD formula: association, B for books, C for chanting, and D for Krishna Prasadam. That's all. That's the whole essence of Vedic scriptures. Within this 10, 11 days, you have learned what the Gyanis, after their hundreds and hundreds of lifetimes by the study of scriptures, have not understood. You all may find it so simple, but it is not so simple actually. It is made simple by the grace of the founder Acharya of ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada. It is his efforts. It was his efforts, because of which all of us got to understand the essence, the gist. First of all, we don't have time. We don't have interest. For this age, there has to be a very, very powerful process which takes less time. Along with taking less time, it is so powerful that despite living in a world of temptations and tribulations, yet a person can practice without giving up much. And therefore, this process of Bhakti Yoga is prescribed for the Kali Yuga, primarily through the means of chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And that's it. That's the reason Bhagavad Gita is said to be Gita Upanishad. Gita Upanishad means it is the essence of all Upanishad language. Yet, there is a lot more to learn through Bhagavad Gita. So after this, as Mother Dipasha announced in the beginning, we'll be starting with the 2nd level course. This is the 1st level course, Introduction to Spirituality. The 2nd level course, where we'll be going into the discussion about all the 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. And our attempt would be to finish in 18 days or at max 20 days. We'll see. But at least we'll definitely strive to finish it off within 20 or 21 days. Why I say 20, 21 days is maybe I may do, Bhagavad Gita is divided into 3 sections, 6, 6, 6. So maybe I may do after every 6th chapter a recap so that it remains fresh in your mind. Either 18 or 21 days, complete Bhagavad Gita would be discussed. For every chapter, you will have a quiz to solve. So whatever you have learned, would be tested out, how much you have understood. And that way, Krishna willing, you can understand the message of Bhagavad Gita. Considering all of you have a busy life, this is the best that I could think of at my side. So thank you so much. Sincere gratitude to each one of you for taking out your time through this difficult time which is going around, and still taking out your time to come every day for 1.5 hours in the evening. Very grateful to each one of you. Thank you so much. Back to the host for any concluding remarks, comments, or any questions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this valuable session. And also thanks a lot for spending your time, which is so, we know that how difficult it is to take out your time and get this kind of association. So thanks a lot that we could connect to so many new devotees, so many new aspiring devotees who may take the Krishna consciousness very sincerely in their life. Before proceeding ahead with the Q&A, just few reiteration to the earlier announcement. So please do join for that 18 days Gita Essence series. And if you have liked this particular series, please do share the message with your friends and family members too. And apart from that, we have also shared the information about the courses related to kids or the upcoming international cultural competition where you as well as your kids can participate. We request you to share your feedback on the WhatsApp groups. So you may please share how we can improve ourselves. And we also request you, so although there is no registration fees across any course, but it's based on the traditional Gurukul system. So if you would like to support in any way, you can support by sharing the message or in any other way. So going through the question and answer, Prabhuji, can we start with the Q&A part? I think Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Just give us 1 minute. Once Prabhuji comes back, and I can see 2 hands One is from Jayashree ji and another is from Ved ji. Let me just confirm with our team. Maybe there is some internet issue. Because of that, they have to log out. So they must be joining very quickly. Yes, they are joining within 2 minutes only. So meanwhile, I'll take this opportunity to thank all of you for joining this session on YouTube as well as Zoom, coming again and again. So I can see, I think Vasanti ji is also having some questions. So please do share the message with your friends and family members. If you have already attended, then you can share the feedback about it and you can share the message. So you can support us in this manner by spreading the word to the people who may be very much interested to know this kind of knowledge. So we are just waiting with some internet issue. So I saw some questions that when we are going to have next live Kirtan. So we'll ask that also, that when Prabhuji is going to plan to have next live Kirtan. So maybe till the time Prabhuji is going to join back, we can just try to follow what Prabhuji has said, that A, B, C, D. We are already having the association of all of you. Just now we have gone through the quick review of book, that is the Bhagavad-GITA. So can we go ahead with the chanting of holy names, quick chanting of holy names to all those who are currently suffering due to the COVID and all these things. Okay, Prabhuji is there. Should be another account. So yeah, Prabhuji is back. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I'm allowing you to unmute yourself. Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji, you can unmute yourself.
Yes, looks
Yes,
like I'm unmuted.
Okay.
Technical glitch.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji.
If we have our audience yet, I don't know what happened in between, so we can take some questions.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. So we are ready with the questions.
And how many of our audience are, by the way, the registration for new course have already opened. So I hope you have informed them. They can go right away after this program on the website and fill out the registration form and, confirm their participation that way. All right.
Yes, Prabhuji. Already shared with them.
We can share the link, if not shared. Yes, let's go ahead if there are any questions.
Yes. So, Jayashree ji, first you may unmute yourself and ask a question. Hare Krishna. Yes.
Krishna, Prabhuji, am I audible?
Yes. Can we increase the volume, please?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes. I can see now. Yes, Jayashree, go ahead.
Yeah. Prabhuji, my question was about meditation. You have covered yoga, but then you said it is a means to connect to the God. But any comments for meditation, Prabhuji, where we can what should we do when we meditate in order to connect better?
So once a young lady came to Srila Prabhupada back in those days, the days of hippies, and she said, Swamiji, chanting the mantra meditation, we call it mantra meditation, is so amazing. When I chant, I see different colors, sometimes red color, sometimes blue color, sometimes yellow color. Looks like I'm entering spiritual realm. Then she stopped speaking. And then Prabhupada replied, don't worry, continue chanting, all the colors will go away, and then you'll start hearing for the first time. So what it means is, so how do we do properly mantra meditation? Is sit down in a neat and clean place and chant and hear. The whole process is to get rid of our mind. In other words, not to involve our mind into the activity, but sit and chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said that at least we should sit down for half an hour straight, and we should not get up. According to modern science, you can have a maximum or the best attention spent for half an hour. After half an hour, a person should ideally take a few minutes break and then again come back Now, Bhaktivinoda Thakur made this point. This is a recent research which they said for how long you can have an effective concentration. Now, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur had said the statement more than 120 years ago. And he said, when you sit down for chanting, so effectively of 4 rounds, 108 times into 4, chanting of the holy names of the Lord takes somewhere between 25 minutes to 30 minutes. And according to modern scientists, it's 24 minutes to be precise is an ideal time to maintain your concentration. Of course, if you look back into the science of yoga, then you'll find dharana, dhyana, samadhi, those stages also have a fixed amount of durations for which you should hold your consciousness, hold your attention. I'll not get into the subject right now, but let's keep with this modern science. Modern science says for 24 minutes. So at least for half an hour or 25 minutes, we should sit down and chant. So to do that effectively, please keep your mobile phone at silent. Find a time in a day when nobody else is there to disturb you. Ideally would be early morning hours, because those are the time of the day which is very peaceful. And then try to chant. That mantra meditation will be quite effective and you'll feel far greater reciprocation and satisfaction. Okay.
Oh, thank you, sir. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Next is Vasanti ji. Vasanti ji, you may ask your question, please.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Pranams, Prabhuji. Hope you can hear me.
Yes. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Actually, I am having one question and I need one clarification. Which one shall I ask you first, Prabhuji?
Please go ahead.
I am from Chennai and
Okay.
we have a place in Chennai called Adayar where we have a very big banyan tree. That banyan
Okay.
tree is around 800 to 900 years old, they say. I just
Okay.
want to know if one Atma is there in that tree living for around 800, 900 years, why one Atma is having so many years inside one body, like how Brahmaji's body, there is one Atma. And is there any supremacy in those type of Atma? Whereas we human beings are having 70, 80 years in average. That is one question.
So
And
we'll go
second
one
is
by
my
one.
clarification. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go one by one. How
Yes.
long an Atma lives in the body of ant?
Very less.
You
Very
know the
less time.
fire. You would have heard of fireflies. Now
Yeah.
fireflies, they generally have a lifespan of only a night.
Yes.
So our duration of life, our duration of life in a particular body depends on the body given to us, a body that we get. And once we are into the evolutionary cycle, once we have given up the human body, and once we've gone or degraded to the lower species, then but by the law of nature, we have to go through all the species of life before we can come back to the human species. So, and that's the first part of it. The lifespan is according to the body. Second thing, what is more valuable, quantity or quality? Which means the quantity of your life, the duration of life is more valuable, or the quality of life that you have lived is more valuable. Shankaracharya lived only for 31 or 32 years.
Quality of valuable than the number of years what we live.
Correct. Shankaracharya ji lived only for 31 to 32 years.
I think there is some disturbance. I'm not able to hear. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So there is some internet connection issue somewhere. I don't know where. Mother Dipasha, is it at our end?
Prabhuji, I can hear you very clearly.
We can request Mother to switch off her camera maybe. So that will be more bandwidth.
For us, it's audible. Mataji, you may switch off your video for a while.
She got muted, so you can. So the quality matters. Shankaracharya ji lived for only 31 or 32 years. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lived for 48 years. But the amount of contribution they made to the lives of all is insurmountable or indescribable in words. So to live like a banyan tree for 800 years ago, what is the use of it? Only the dogs go and pass water on it. or the humans go and cut its branches. That's all, to insult the tree, nothing else, isn't it? So we should focus more on living a life of a quality. Life of quality means where we are able to add values in the life of others. And that's a life worth living. There are so many people on this earth who live for long lifespan. They come, they go, nobody knows, because they never ever bother about contributing anything in the lives of others. Their life was all about I. But there are others who may live for a short duration, but serve the nation, like the soldiers protecting the nation. They are given, so much recognition. They deserve it. Like the doctors today are the soldiers. They are the frontline warriors. They deserve all the respect for it. So that's worthwhile living. What's your clarification now? Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, Mataji, please unmute yourself. I'm allowing you to. Yes.
Yeah. One small kid yesterday, Padmanabha, asked a question regarding 33 crore God.
Oh, okay. I wasn't there. Padmanabha had raised his hand, had left.
Yeah,
yes.
And he was asking one question. My clarification is, in our Srimad Bhagavatam or Purana, we have heard about 11 Rudras, 12 Adityas, 8 Ashtavasus, and 2 Ashwini Kumaras. When we add up all these, it comes to 33. These descendants,
okay.
These descendants all are coming under this 33 crore. Is my assumption. Whether is it right or wrong?
Actually,
that is what we have heard from some of our elderly persons. So I wanted to clarify it.
Actually, these devatas are of very different kinds. The word devata refers to one who has got. Let me put it this way. We have this huge governance for such a huge country. There is a huge governance. There are hundreds and thousands of people involved in supporting the government in different responsibilities. There are government hospitals, there are government colleges, there is a police force, there is a central police force, there's a state police force, there are banks, whatnot, which are directly under the supervision of the government, isn't it? So you have people who are directly under the supervision, working directly under the government. And then you have a common mass, common public. So the difference between these two is, one is called as a common man and other is called as government employee, right? A bank manager is called as a government employee. The police officer will also be called as a government employee because he's working under the government. So like that, we have this 33
I'm not able to hear again.
Okay. Mother Vasanti, maybe you can switch off your camera. I guess bandwidth is fine at my end.
Yeah, I think some internet issue is there at Mataji's end because she's...
Yes, please.
Prabhuji, can we go ahead with the next question when she resumes?
Just check with her if she can hear us or not, because I'll finish this and then go. So it's audible for her. If she can confirm, then I'll conclude the answer and go ahead.
Yeah, Mataji, you need to... Yes, please, Mataji.
She can
Yes, now I am able to hear, Prabhuji.
Yeah, so you got the idea of the government employees now. We have a huge number of government employees, and yet we have a huge amount of population here. Now, when you have a huge amount of government officials, you don't know everyone, because everyone is not need to be known by us. There are different, you may know the chief minister, you may know certain heads of the government position. So those are the ones whom we know of, are recognized as Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, etc., etc.
Yes. And my question was whether are these their descendants, 33 crore. That is what was told by my elderly great-grandfather. So that clarification. Yeah, those descendants.
Descendants of whose?
Those Rudras, Adityas, Vasus, and...
Oh, you're saying are they descendants? Yes,
I don't know.
Are they descendants? You're saying are they descendants?
So their descendants.
No, they are not only descendants. No, what I meant to say, they are not only descendants of them. They're also descendants of the great rishis, like Saptarishis. We have Saptarishi of it, which is just before Dhruva Loka, the Saptarishi planet comes, and there are many other great sages They are descendants of them. Now, the 12 Adityas are the son of our Kashyapa Muni, born of Diti. Oh, sorry, Aditi.
Mhm.
You know,
Aditi.
so they're sons of the sages actually after all. And of course, there are some descendants of the Devtas also.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Vasanti ji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, next I can see Raj Lakshmi ji. Raj Lakshmi ji, could you please unmute yourself? Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
First
Hare
of all,
Krishna.
thank you for the wonderful session. I thank all the whole Evolve team, Evolve Pune team. So my question is that if there is reincarnation, is it necessary to go through all the rituals when a family member departs, or like we do Pitru Puja and offer food to the departed souls? So what's the point in doing all this if there is reincarnation?
So actually, Atma, or I would say the subtle body, needs a gross body to enjoy or fulfill desire. All right. Now let's say, you know, you feel like eating gulab jamun. You can only eat when you have a mouth to eat it, isn't it? Now, when the gross body is lost, how do you fulfill that desire? The desire is still there. Either you have the body or not have a body. So when the body is taken away from us by the laws of the nature, then if the body is not burnt, water and fire both are a purifying agent. So for in this case, just by bathing the dead body is not sufficient. You have to burn the dead body and then drown, or you know, the ashes into the sacred rivers like Ganges and etc. So when you burn the body, and when the body have kind of turned into earth, which means ashes, into its elemental state, that's the time the attachment of the subtle body with the gross body breaks. So that is the very first thing we do. You know, within next 1 or 2 days, we do the cremation as soon as possible, because until we do so, the subtle body will keep on suffering. And then after that, there is a whole process of Tervi, you know, there are different processes are given, rituals are given, understanding is given. The little debate about it, what exactly is the thing, but the thing is, now the body, the soul has not been given another body yet. Is being taken to the Yamloka. Now, when the soul is being taken to the Yamloka, Garuda Purana explains about the punishments the soul, or not the soul, actually the subtle body, the soul doesn't undergo any suffering as such. The subtle body, that living entity undergoes till the time he reaches the Yamloka. So just for the sake of protection of that living entity, there is all that worship is offered. And the whole goal of that worship is to offer whatever, like every day there is an offering done. And that whole offering is done actually to Vishnu. And then thing is offered to that departed soul. Like your Pitra Dan that we do it every year. What is Pitra Dan? Pitra Dan is Pitra Lok. The duration of 1 day in Pitra Lok is 6 months here. So just like every morning you get up, you have your breakfast. Similarly, every 6 months there is Pitra Lok. What do you call? Pitra. Pitrupaksh. Yeah, the Pitrupaksh, which means once in a year you have a Pitrupaksh, or every 6 months. So every 6 months you offer food, and there is a means given by which that food is offered in a subtle state to the departed soul. So these are the things which are given, and they have their sense and meaning. As there are certain things which are difficult to understand, just like the science of astrology, what the scientists talk about is not that everything we understand, but we believe it because the scientists are saying it. Similarly, Vedic scriptures talks about something, so we need to accept and follow it as long as we have a bona fide person guiding us, and gradually the subject matter makes sense and we understand how it functions. So that's the whole thing about it. It is all done for the well-being of the departed soul. so that the departed soul have to face the least amount of inconvenience till the next body is awarded to him or her. All right.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji. Thank you,
Thank you,
Rajlakshmi ji.
Thank
Next, I can see.
And for those it has not been done, there are a lot of chances of them becoming a ghostly personalities.
you.
And these are the personalities, those who come back and trouble their own family members. You're from Kerala. Kerala have so many incidents, so many. Kerala has been, Kerala, Rajasthan, primarily, UP, some parts of Tamil Nadu. There's still a lot of active tantrics, and these all practices are very well known to people of this part of the state still, because this all happens. These are the real things actually, where some rituals or some things have not been done which was necessary, and that living entity now comes and troubles the family members. I, with my own eyes, saw a woman getting possessed by her uncle. What should I say uncle? Father-in-law. So this is a family where the father-in-law had departed, but his final rites were not being done. And the father-in-law departed many, many years before the lady got married in that family. And when this lady got married, within a 1 month, the father-in-law came over onto the body of this lady. This is Pratyaksha Praman, all right? And her eyes turned red. Her voice turned into the sound of a male. And the very first thing she did was she gave a tight slap to her mother-in-law. I mean, you might laugh at it, but this is the first thing she did. She literally bet her mother-in-law because, being a wife, she had to make sure the final rites were being performed properly, but she was atheistic in nature. She didn't follow that. And so does the kids didn't do that. Because as the husband, the father-in-law of this, the daughter-in-law now had to suffer. For over 15 years, the father-in-law was sitting in the same house. Now, finally, how do I know that? The father-in-law through this lady spoke. And this is not some computer programming is going on where the sound has been changed into a male voice. This is direct transmission. There is a least editing done. Is a direct transmission happening. So these are there. Okay. I will not go more in details, otherwise you'll get nightmares now. Okay, I'll keep it here. Just wanted to share something so you understand this is there. And this is a one simple example. Sometime I'll tell you more interesting examples.
If we have to do the rituals, for how many years should we do? For 12 years or?
See, one is Pitrapaksh, so that we have to continue doing that. Just offering once in a year that we have to prepare. That's the thing. I'm not very well versed in the subject matter in terms of for how long and all that. That is not my subject. Bhagavad-Gita doesn't speak at length about it. It's a subject matter of Garuda Puran or the Brahmanas or the Pandits who do these activities. But the theory and the science is like that. Okay?
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So related to this only, we have got a question on YouTube. And actually in the current COVID times, people are not able to perform any final rites. Even the doctors are not even giving the ashes also. So what should be done in such cases? Such kind of question we have received by Suchita ji on YouTube.
I don't know, actually, not really sure about what's happening. I believe they're burning the dead bodies, isn't it?
Yes, they are, but I think they are not even giving the ashes also to.
Ashes are not being given.
No.
Fine, at least the body has been burnt actually.
Yeah.
Even if the ashes are not, of course, if ashes were given and they could be put into a sacred river, that has its own spiritual significance. But at least body is burnt, at least the soul can now leave because there is no body now. can be awarded. Now, in this case, by the way, just to put a disclaimer, in this case, the father-in-law was murdered. No, sorry, not murdered. He had a premature death. Precisely what had happened, he met an accident. And because this happened back in a village where there was no proper medical treatment around 25 years ago or 15, 20 years ago. So the doctor who came, checked the nerve, declared him to be dead, but he was actually not dead. This is also that father-in-law said through this lady that I was still alive. You all did not, actually really thought of getting me verified from somebody else. Seeing me in a so seriously injured, you assumed me to be dead because that some doctor told me. So that's the reason he remained as a ghostly being. Otherwise, he would have definitely got another body. Got it? So now that everyone becomes a ghostly being.
Prabhuji. Prabhuji, next I can see Ved ji. Ved, would you like to ask a question? Yes, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes,
so
Ved.
my question, like, it was a great experience in all 11 sessions. We got to know the textual truth. But I want to know your experiential truth of like seeing Krishna, having some conversation with Krishna or God or godliness or whatever you call it, or meditation, or like what is your experiential of truth?
So the very first thing the scripture says, when one takes to the spiritual life, what one experiences is auspiciousness. The very first thing that happens in one's life is auspiciousness. And even if you have to take to this principle of giving up a sinful life and taking to the meditation that is given in the scriptures, you yourself would experience an auspiciousness. The symptom of auspiciousness is happy and blissful life, a stress-free, more stable mind. And when you have that, that's the only time you can think of sharing that happiness with others. Otherwise it is not possible. So these are just natural outcomes. Second thing that happens after that is the inclination of a person to do sin further reduces. Attraction for a pious life, God-conscious life, a godly life increases, becomes more strengthened. The taste for renunciation, or to say, the inclination for material sense enjoyment becomes less or almost close to nil as we are progressing. To the degree we are getting pure in our consciousness, to the degree we begin to realize the presence of the Lord. Now the Lord, just like Ved goes onto the top of his house and he screams, Modi, 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 it doesn't mean Modi will come. He's not our order supplier. So there is a whole process by which we can actually experience the presence of the Lord. And what is the means of it? Is through the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Now, the chanting of the holy names of the Lord doesn't mean that right in the beginning stage, you will see Krishna dancing right in front of you. That is not the means of it. Even if Krishna would have to dance in front of you, you don't have the vision to see him. I don't say that. Krishna says in 11th chapter of Bhagavad-GITA, hey Arjuna, the form that I'm about to show you, the universal form, you cannot see it. Let me give you a vision. And after that, when Krishna had rounded up his universal form, and then he showed his four-handed form and two-handed Krishna form, then again Krishna said, Arjuna, universal form is rare. This two-handed form is extremely difficult for anyone to see. Only one who has become a pure, unalloyed devotee can only see that. And how can we see that? Only when Krishna gives us the access to it. And when does Krishna give access to it? That only Krishna decides. What makes us to continue on this journey is the faith, the experience of auspiciousness, happiness, freedom from the state of misery. And it's a fantastic life. It's a joyful living. When you recover from fever, you become miserable or happy? When you recover from material disease, but naturally you become happy. And if you're already getting a happy living, why wouldn't we continue with faith on the path, following the orders of Guru, knowing that all of our previous acharyas and devotees have had opportunity to go back to Godhead, to meet with Krishna, speak with Krishna, why wouldn't I have it? But that requires faith. We cannot say, because I've been practicing for 10 years, I demand Krishna to appear in front of me. Krishna is Swarat, fully independent. We, as compared to him, are inconsequential. It is our need to recognize the importance of relationship or re-establishing our relationship with him, because he's the fire, we are the spark, not other way around. So that is how, just like we just celebrated Ramanavami, Shabari was told by Matanga Rishi that, wait, you should not commit or give up your life because I am leaving. I'm so pleased by your devotional service and service attitude that I bless you that in this life you will have darshan of your beloved Lord Ram. And she had to wait for a long, long time before Lord Ram came and gave her his darshan. And until then, Shabari continued preparing every single day as if today Lord Ram is going to come. This is the faith that attracts the mercy of the Lord. And that is the only asset that I have, or that's the only asset we have. And that's the only asset that we should be cultivating. And that's only possible with the right kind of people and their association. Okay? We can have the next question now.
Yes, Prabhuji. Next is Sarita ji. Dr. Sarita, could you please unmute yourself?
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I want to ask that how Bhakti Yoga is better than Gyan Yoga? Means which way is better, Bhakti Yoga or Gyan Yoga? Like enlightenment and Atma Gyan thing. Means Aham Brahmasmi, like वैसा.
So first thing, of course, this is again a subject matter of detailed discussion, which we'll be doing in the next course. Jnana Yoga, Lord Shri Krishna describes about it, what all it requires. First of all, you be a man or woman, whoever has to take to Jnana Yoga, the prerequisite is the person must have cultivated detachment, must not have desires for, it's not that I need to eat sweet once in a week, or should not have, should have developed enough renunciation to take to the process of Tyaga or renunciation. Because to practice Jnana Yoga, you have to go to the forest, live a very, very austere and simple life. That is a prerequisite. And then after going there, then you have to go through the process of studying scriptures. Because to be able to study, you need to focus. And to be able to focus, you need to have a concentration. Concentration can only be there when you're free from distractions. You can only be free from distractions when you don't have attachment to your sense gratification. So does it sound a little difficult? Or for Bhakti Yoga, there is no prerequisite like that. For Bhakti Yoga, whoever, wherever we are, Prabhupada gave the formula of dovetailing. You like to eat? Great. Offer to Krishna, then eat. You like to dance? Great. Dance for the pleasure of the Lord. That becomes service. You like to serve people? Serve on behalf of the Lord. Great. So everything can be whatever we like. We can dovetail our likings as a service to the Lord. So we get to fulfill what I want to do it, and yet I get to serve the Lord and I get to purify my existence. But we cannot do things which are prohibited. We cannot offer non-vegetarian food to Krishna saying that I like to do it, you better accept it. So that it becomes prasadam, all right? Not like that. So there are do's and don'ts that we need to know of. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, last question is from Padmanabh.
Yes.
Padmanabh, you may unmute yourself and may conclude.
Have you shared the link? Website link?
Yes, Prabhuji. In the chat box I have shared, and on the YouTube.
Okay.
Also.
And on the YouTube? I hope to share on the YouTube.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, you told yesterday that a person killing goat, will the goat get a human life? If he gets, when he kills that person, will the goat get papa?
Well, if the goat gets a human life, and in that human life, if that living entity kills, then he gets a sinful reaction. But if the goat gets a body of a lion, and that lion eats that living entity, then the karma is nullified without getting reaction. So what's going to happen in the next life? That is a mystery. And let that mystery continue. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Hare
Okay,
Krishna.
so
Yes, Prabhuji, we
anything
have
else?
exhausted all questions from YouTube as well as Zoom. Prabhuji, Jayashree Mataji have asked to understand the importance of Ekadashi. So maybe
Yes,
now.
so Jayashree, we will meet again sometime soon before the next series, and we'll have a dedicated session on the topic of Bhakti Yoga. Or in other words, how to practice Bhakti Yoga at home. Where we'll talk about what is Ekadashi, how to offer prasadam, Tulsi worship, etc., etc. So today's what? Wednesday,
Wednesday.
Thursday, Friday. We can schedule it for sometime next week, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday evening. I'll confirm you. And that time we'll meet again and I'll talk about these practices that you can take at your home. Okay? And there will be a series of messages that you will get, all of you will get soon, about different engagements and different programs for all of you. Stay tuned to that. And do let us know how you felt from all this learning. I believe Mother Dipasha would have shared about feedbacks. So that helps us actually to serve you all better. You can send your feedback to Mother Dipasha or Mother Medhavani or Vishwakiran or your respective admins of your respective groups, or else to me directly, whatever you feel like. Second thing, do share the message which would be sent out on your WhatsApp group about the upcoming Gita Essence series with your friends and family members. Let's take this opportunity. If you feel that this knowledge is important and everyone should hear it at least once in their lifetime. So as an act of service to all of them, all your friends, well-wishers, relatives, all of us are part of hundreds of groups and are active on social media. Please share this message out so that, we are able to share the message of Lord Shri Krishna with everyone. And Krishna says, whoever helps spreading this message is very dear to me. So it's a shortcut method for all of you to become dear. All of us send a lot of WhatsApp messages. Maybe you can send one meaningful message, right? Or meaningful forward to your friends and relatives. And yes, the next program would also be in English. Okay.
Prabhuji, there was
this
a
time
request about
Mhm.
when is going to happen the live Kirtan, next live Kirtan.
Next live Kirtan is on next Friday.
Okay.
I'm traveling for a few days. I'll be back in Hinjawadi on next Friday. Actually, I was supposed to go today, but because we had this program, I had to change a schedule. So I'll be back next Friday. And then next Friday, we'll have it, Kirtan. You'll get to know next week about it. Fine?
Ji, Prabhuji.
Srila Prabhupada ki,
Jai.
Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki.
Jai.
Hare.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, and thank you so much to all our audience.
Sorry, the
Yes,
last thing. Do finish out all your quizzes. But Pasha, we can tell our admins to send a message back in the group so that the certificates can be issued within this week.
Oh,
so
great.
all of our students can finish all their quizzes and then we can send them the certificate. All right.
Thank you so much. So you have an exciting opportunity to get a certificate. So please do complete your quizzes, and the winners may also get the opportunity to get some exciting gifts also from Prabhuji. So please do finish all the quizzes, and let's hope that you are going to be among the winners. And we look forward to have all of you for the upcoming series. That is the Gita Essence series. Please do spread that message with your friends, family members, relatives, your uncles, aunties, padosis, neighbors. Let's spread the name of Krishna at each and every household. So across your society groups, your flatmates, your group, your batchmates, wherever you can spread this message, please try to do that. And we look forward. Nehaji, you have a question, you may type in, and then I'll share that question with Prabhuji. And please take care of yourself. Thank you so much for having this wonderful association of 11 days with all of you. We could also learn a lot from all of you. So I could see many names, many faces on a regular day who have interacted with us. Hare Krishna.